Hi, I'm Carrie Keenan with Travel Television, and with me today I have Andrea Sedlock from the Mpambara Cox Foundation. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you.
And if you could start and tell us a little bit about your foundation.
Sure. Our foundation, we work on education in southwestern Uganda, and our overall goal is to have every child complete a full course of primary education.
That sounds great. Can you tell us a little bit about the background of the program?
Sure. Our president and founder, Mpambara Cox, was giving a spelling test in her son's school where she volunteered every week back in 2008 in Gaithersburg, Maryland. She was working with a child who was normally very bright and who would have normally aced the test. But on this morning, he was having a really hard time coming up with the right spellings. So she eventually asked him, what's wrong? And he said, I'm really hungry. And she said, well, didn't you eat breakfast this morning? And he said, no, I wanted McDonald's and my mom wouldn't take me to McDonald's, so I refused to eat what was offered to me. So that was the initial catalyst that got her starting to think about where she was originally from and the children there and how they must feel at school every day when they're really hungry. And so that prompted her to take a trip back to Uganda and to visit actually 21 schools in the city where she's from. And what she found there was some pretty dire conditions. She found half-empty classrooms, that 3 out of 4 children will drop out by the 4th grade or by the time they're 10 years old, lack of scholastic materials, and so on and so forth. So she came back to the United States knowing that she had to do something not only for the kids in Uganda, but also tying it in with the U.S. students. She wanted to show them appreciation for the fact that breakfast is not a given in other parts of the world.
Right. Well, that sounds like a great program. So that led into a school partnership program.
Correct. So we have the USASPI, which is the United States Africa Schools Partnering Initiative. And our goal is to get a partner in the United States for all of our 21 partner schools in Uganda. That program consists of many different facets and can actually be customized for school, or we have churches and religious organizations who also serve as school partners. We do pen paling programs, collecting backpacks, and also volunteer trips every year in the summer.
Oh, wow. So what has been your personal experience with this?
I have visited Uganda every year since 2009, and a lot of times we serve in the primary schools working with the 5th through 7th graders, and we tutor them in English. So we take teachers from our partner schools, we've taken some principals before, and our goal is to encourage the students to stay in school. We also get to serve the porridge every day since that's a major component of our programs, and just work in the classrooms tutoring the students on English.
That sounds great. Tell me a little bit more about this porridge program.
The 1030 Porridge program was started as a result of Anita visiting the schools in Uganda and realizing that most of the kids do not have dinner in the evenings and very few have breakfast in the mornings. So she decided that the main component should be a school feeding program. So every morning at 10:30 in our 8 partner schools that are currently partnered with U.S. organizations, there is a cup of maize porridge that is served to each student. In the schools that have this program, we've seen increased attendance by as much as 23%, reduced dropout rates by 47%, and a dramatic decrease in sickness-related absenteeism.
Wow, that sounds like a great program. All right, so what are some of the other initiatives that Mpambara associates with?
We also have the WISE program, which is the Women in Support of Education. It's a microfinance and empowerment initiative. It's not just an average microloan because we have to tie in our mission of education. So we select mothers within our partner schools who have students in our schools to receive a one-time microloan from a U.S. donor. And our program is unique because the U.S. donor then can develop a relationship with their wise woman. They can write letters. You can even go to visit the woman that you sponsor. Once the woman receives the loan, she is able to start a small business. As a result of receiving the loan, we require our mothers to prioritize education in the home. So they must keep their children in school, they must maintain regular attendance, they must have clean uniforms, and they themselves must commit to taking financial literacy and literacy classes.
Wow, sounds like an excellent program. I understand there's another one, Global Fellows?
Yes. Our Global Fellows program was started, actually I started it as a result of visiting in 2010. And my concern was, okay, now we have the students coming to school as a result of our porridge program, but what happens when they graduate elementary school? Because the families live on less than $1 a day, many of them can't even afford food, as we've discussed, so they certainly can't afford the cost of a secondary or high school education. So for a $35 a month fee, a U.S. donor can sponsor a student to continue their education in high school. The program also encompasses a mentoring and guidance component where the student has career guidance and things like that as part of the program.
So I understand that there was a church in the area, Journey's Crossing Church, that has gone over to Uganda. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
Sure. Journey's Crossing is one of our successful partnerships. They are partnered with Kigoma Primary School in Kabale, Uganda. They have been sponsoring the 1030 porridge program there and feeding the kids at school each day since 2008. In 2009, they were the first inaugural team to go over with the Mpambara Cox Foundation to actually visit and work in their partner school. In 2009, they threw a vacation Bible school for the entire school where they did a Bible lesson, songs, games, and crafts. They sent a second team in 2011, and this time they focused more on the teaching aspect. So a team of 12 individuals went over, many of them teachers, and they worked in the classrooms with their partner students, establishing a personal relationship beyond the pen paling component of the program. So they were able to serve porridge each day to the students that they sponsor, and also just really encourage the students to stay in school and to help the older kids with their English skills.
That sounds great. It sounds like they're very involved with the program.
Yes.
To promote their school partnership program, the Mpambara Cox Foundation participated at the MLK Day of Service 2012. Students in the U.S. were able to write pen pal letters and to even Skype with the children in Uganda. Well, thank you so much, Andrea, for joining us today. If you'd like more information, go to the website www.mcoxfoundation.org. And for Travel Television, I'm Carrie Keenan.